My name is Don Summers. My mother always called me Donald, and after I got into school a little ways, they started calling me Don. My father's name was Clifford W., or Clifford Wayne Summers, and my mother's name was Isabel Henrietta Overstreet Summers. You know, my dad was they worked in the citrus fruits, in irrigating and cultivating and whatever they have to do. And we went to Montecito. I remember the garbage man. He had a four-wheel wagon pulled with a horse. It had rubber tires on it. That was what impressed me. And here, I'm just a little guy. I don't know how old I was in there, 4 or 5 years old. And of course, that was during World War II. That's kind of where I got started on, probably on airplanes, because that's the first airplanes I seen around it. I seen military planes pulling targets, you know, and didn't see much of it. And of course, we were there at the time that the Japanese submarine came into Santa Barbara and shot some torpedoes into the oil fields. And it was kind of scary because during that time, because we had blackouts and air raids. And it was kind of unusual though, because when there was an air raid, they evacuated the schools. We got on school buses and we took off. And we went up in a wooded area. And the funny thing I thought about that was, we drove right past our house. But we didn't come up the same road we did. They took a crazy way. I thought, we could get there faster, but it was out in the open more too, I think is why. My dad, he was an air raid warden during the World War II. They go around, when there's an air raid, they go around all buzz the neighborhoods and make sure everybody's got their lights turned out. He was a small-built man. He's always very jokative, kind of like I am. I think that's where I got that from. My mother was, she was the homemaker. She didn't work out of the home at all. I contribute a lot of my success for being a good person to her, because I remember one time she told me, she says, if you ever start smoking, you can leave home. I left California, and I think it was 1951, and we moved up to Idaho. The neighbor next door to us was a member of the church. And we was going to the Baptist church, my sister and I. And my mother says to us one day, she says, I want you kids to go to church on Sunday. And she says, I don't care where you go, I just want you to go. Well, she went with the neighbor next door. We said, hey, here's a free ride. We went with her. My dad had the job of insulating houses. Well, I got to insulate houses with him for a while. And we had to go down to Sandy, Utah to get the insulation down at the plant. And so while we went down there, we stayed in Salt Lake and around Temple Square and whatnot. And we joined the church after we went back to California. And so we met with the stake missionaries, and they asked us one time, do you think we was ready to book? Yeah, we thought we were ready, but what we wanted to do is wait till the chapel was done and be baptized in the new building. And so we did that. That night, it was on a Saturday night, they had a baptism, and 16 people were baptized that night. And 7 was my family. It was what I thought was really cool. Of course, in band, we took some pretty nice trips. That was beautiful. That was the year we went to the Rose Parade when I was a senior. And we got brand new uniforms, and I was in it. And then I went down and seen it again when Debbie went down, when the schools from here went down. See, now, all of this training my mother tried to do, most of it soaked in, because we joined the church, and it wasn't too long after that, me and 2 other fellows took off, joined the Air Force. She told me, she says, now when you get up there, go see the LDS chaplain. I says, Mom, there's not going to be a LDS chaplain up there. Much to my surprise, there were 2 of them. Running around with the kids in the church there in Texas. One of them was a returned missionary, and he served his mission in Stevensville. And he asked me, he says, "You want to write to a wonderful girl?" And I said, "Sure." And I thought, yeah, that's all right. I'd have a pen pal then. Probably never meet her. When they cut the orders, Great Falls we went. I thought this was pretty cool. We shipped out of there by train and got into Great Falls one morning early. So after I got settled, I wanted to go get down and see Meredith in April for Easter. But I just couldn't quite make it, so it was a little later on I got down there. Decided, it'd be nice if we got married. And of course, your grandma, well, this was cute. She says, there wasn't anything she ever wanted to do to hurt her parents. And she wanted a temple marriage. So we had a little work to do. I had to get ordained an elder and had to get recommend. Of course, now my mother was really mad at me when your grandma and I got married, because she couldn't be there. They hadn't been endowed yet. They hadn't been to the temple yet. Yeah, of course, when we got married, that was on the second day of November 1956. Well, she gave birth to 6 girls. We lost the first one because she only lived 2 days. Well, and here you are in the military. Well, what do you do, you know? Well, it worked out really nice because her folks took the body down to Rigby. So we had her buried down there because there's a plot down there that the family had. And then after Carol and I were married, Carol made a suggestion. Why don't we have her body brought up and put by her mother? So I talked to the head of the mortician. And then on the back of the headstone, my name's up there with hers. And then on the back, all the girls' names are on it. Even Donna Jean's name's on there too. How did I meet Carol? You know, I don't even remember how I first met her. Because she worked at the church, she was a custodian. And I was doing the satellite stuff, you know. And I get into situations where I needed her help. She had keys to things and I didn't. And I couldn't get into where I needed to get. And then, of course, that's how I met her. And then, of course, after your grandma passed away, it was at a stake conference. State conference was over, and Carol invited me over for stew or something. Yeah.
Been feeding him ever since.
Yeah. But you know, it's a funny thing. I made up my mind what had to be, and Carol and I were married in Idaho Falls. In life, I think important to me is our Father in heaven. Is very important to me. The church is important to me. The family is important to me. And when I was working, the job was important. You know, I was hoping as far as I came, as far as I went, I could hope it would pass on.
I thought my dad was magic.
Dad was my hero.
We laughed, he cried,
and he always was right there for us.
I remember going down the hallways of the mall, looking at all the old pictures of Missoula, and listening to him talk about the way things used to be and how much things have changed.
I would go in the room, and his face would just light up.
He always talked about rigging up a chute so when we got too giggly at the dinner table, he could push a button and send us down to our room. But what I loved most about my dad is he was goofy.
He was always making jokes and trying to get people to laugh.
Dad could talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And sometimes it made his family crazy, but we loved him for that.
The most important thing to me was he knew the blackbird was my favorite.
My favorite memories from Grandpa is even though we lived far away, every birthday, and he would always give us a call and always send us a birthday card. And Grandpa was always really funny and you're always great. I love Grandpa very much, and he will surely be missed.
When I was little, I called him the silly grandpa. I always loved it when he spoke like Donald Duck, and you knew that he loved it when you asked him to do it.
My favorite memory of Grandpa was sitting and scanning pictures with him one summer and getting to hear all of his stories. Grandpa was a really good man.
My favorite memories of Grandpa are during the summers when I was younger. We'd go over to his house for barbecue, and of course Daniel and I would go and climb the tree right away right when we got there. And we'd play croquet in his perfect grass in the backyard. I loved going over there.
What I love about Grandpa is his passion to conversate for hours about anything. Living out of state, I didn't get to see him very often, but when I did, it was really easy to catch up and fun to talk and hear his stories.
One of my favorite memories of Papa Don was that he'd always take me out for a birthday lunch. And when I was a little girl, I loved McDonald's. One year, I can't remember how, but it slipped that he didn't like McDonald's. I was shocked. I loved that it didn't matter where we went. He was just making time with me. I love those lunches with Papa Don.
I'll never forget the way his shoulders would bounce up and down while he was telling a goofy joke or a funny story, which seemed to be almost all the time.
My favorite memory of Grandpa would probably be us going over for barbecues and just spending time and climbing in the tree out back. And
we'd get to play on his swing set, which was just the coolest thing, and he would let us crush his soda pop cans. I always knew it was Grandpa's house when I got to crush a soda pop can.
He was a good dad. Loved him a lot.
And I especially want to thank Carol for taking care of him when he needed care the most.
I'm going to miss his laughter and was a good hard worker. I'm going to miss him.
I love you, Dad.
Love you, Grandpa.
I love you,
Love you, Dad.
Grandpa.
Love you, Grandpa.
I love you, Grandpa.